New birth of freedom, ensuring that our government, of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth. If we, the people, fail in our civic duties to preserve our American identity, then we will be damned in history, and those soldiers who heroically gave their lives to preserve our national identity will simply be reduced to an old photograph, torn, tattered, and stained, and faded to yellow in a brown leather frame. If we fail in this duty, they will just become strangers without even a name. Swedish economist Gunnar Myrdal wrote, "The American identity is built around a constellation of ideals, namely individualism, liberty, equality, hard work, and most importantly, the rule of law. These comprise the American creed. In many ways, this distinctiveness is at the heart of our historic notion of American exceptionalism. I believe this American identity is best exemplified and lived by the people of the Lakes region in general and the friendly village of Harrison in particular. One thing that stands out among our citizenry is selflessness. There is an abundance of goodwill and helping hands in this community whenever and wherever someone is in need. Whenever Mainers are in need, we instinctively tend to that need without being asked. These are noble deeds that we bear witness to every day of our lives. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, the legendary Maine warrior, college president, and two-time governor of Maine, said, "The power of noble deeds is to be preserved and passed to the future." Therefore, our gathering today should be looked upon not as simply a remembrance of the past, but more importantly, a lesson to future generations. What are noble deeds? What is nobility? In my search to answer these questions, I could find no single answer, but I found one common thread. All noble deeds involve selflessness. Every American soul being honored today performed noble deeds through their commitment of selfless service. All gave some. Today we honor those that gave all. Men and women from Harrison and the Lakes region have distinguished themselves in selfless service to their village, state, and country from the War of Independence to the present day. Maine was very active in the Patriot cause during the War for Independence, and Cumberland County was especially important in furnishing soldiers in the immediate aftermath of the battles of Concord and Lexington. Joseph Hancock was a Minuteman. Enoch McDonald fought in hand-to-hand combat at the Battle of Bunker Hill. The family names of Bray, Brockett, and Whitney all fought to create the United States at its birth and are still prominent names in our community today. Over 100 Harrison natives served in the Civil War. 17 Harrison men were killed during that war, and 5 of those gave all while serving with the legendary 17th Infantry Regiment during the Battle of Gettysburg. Most notably, 26-year-old Corporal George Barrows was killed while charging with Colonel Chamberlain upon the enemy at Little Round Top at Gettysburg on July 2nd, 1863. 18-year-old Borden Scribner of the Scribner Mill family was instantly killed by a shot through the head at Orange Grove, Virginia on November 27, 1863. The Great War also saw Harrison men making the ultimate sacrifice to our grateful nation. 19-year-old Private William Irving Pembroke was gassed in France while serving with the 101st Engineers, succumbing to his wounds at the age of 27 at his home here in Harrison. Additionally, Privates Harry Winslow and Percy Woods both succumbed to the Spanish flu at Fort Devens just months after enlisting. Fighting in World War II, Second Lieutenant Leland Buck had his B-24 Liberator shot down over the Philippines, and Staff Sergeant Joseph Pitts, a tail gunner on a B-25 Mitchell, was shot down over the South Pacific. Marine Sergeant Joseph Robbins was wounded in action, evacuated, and killed when he fell from a train. And Private First Class Herbert Winslow was killed in action following the D-Day invasion. The Vietnam War claimed the life of Harrison native Ronald St. John, who was killed in action while serving as a medic with the 3rd Marine Division. About 1 mile from this spot lies Bridgeton Academy, a postgraduate prep school whose student body is comprised of students from around the nation and around the world. Bridgeton Academy is an institution that prides itself on transforming selfish boys into selfless men. I personally believe that Bridgeton Academy could not be successful in its mission if it were situated in any other place. The reason for this is the most important part of the educational process is achieved by imprinting our local identity on those boys, and that is vital to the Bridgeton transformation. On the grounds of the Academy is a beautiful and stoic monument to our armed forces that is open to the public, and I encourage you all to go and visit it. Among those memorialized there are First Lieutenant Thomas R. Garill, Bridgeton Academy class of 1965, and he gave his 23-year-old life for his country in Vietnam in 1969. Likewise, 22-year-old Philip Goodwin, Bridgeton Academy class of 1967, also made the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam. Most recently, Marine Corps Lieutenant Alexander Weatherby, Bridgeton Academy class of 1996, made the ultimate sacrifice during Operation Iraqi Freedom. On a personal note, I want to honor one of my fallen comrades, CW2 Thalia Ramirez, a female trooper I served with in the 82nd Cav. She gave all while fighting in Afghanistan in 2012. Thalia was a Kiowa Warrior pilot from San Antonio, Texas. Thalia's commander said Thalia never failed to set the perfect example of a confident and competent warrior. She was fearless. She loved her job. She selflessly risked everything on a regular basis in defense of her brothers and sisters in arms. All of those we honor today were selfless. Selflessness is a required trait for us to achieve a complete life. Albert Einstein said, "Only a life lived for others is a life worth living." Helen Keller observed, "Life is an exciting business, and most exciting when it's lived for others." In closing, the selfless men and women we honor today gave all to ensure that our American identity would remain intact for future generations. In doing so, they have liberated multiple peoples from all over the world from tyranny while asking nothing in return. General Colin Powell once said, "Over the years, the United States has sent many of its finest young men and women into great peril to fight for freedom beyond our borders. The only amount of land we ever ask for in return is enough to bury our dead." If we actively accomplish this mission, we will protect our values of individualism, liberty, equality, hard work, and the rule of law. And with this done, our men and women will not have died in vain. Thank you very much.